One thing about history is that we really do not know what the exact information is, like what exactly happened. Because history is written in the favor of the person that they support or the group that they support. So, for instance, if history was written by Indians or natives, it will be in favor of them. And if they lost the war, it will be what is called the conquering of our nation. And history written by white people, pilgrims, will say something like the victory of America. And so like, you know how the West was won? Well, is it also the West was lost? It's almost like saying half empty, half full. It depends on your interpretation and what you and how you interpret it based upon your experience, your background, your education, and your knowledge. The only thing about history is there's not really anything to be knowledgeable about. There's only one little document that explains how Thanksgiving came to be. And it wasn't really called Thanksgiving. They didn't know anything about Thanksgiving back then. And then throughout the years, Thanksgiving was played around. In fact, the United States of America did not want to do Thanksgiving. That didn't happen until the 40s, when it became a national holiday. But Thanksgiving was just like Valentine's Day is on the calendar. It was just another day. People still went to work. So, I mean, you have to think about all this, folks. The Macy's Day Parade was only done in competition of another company that was doing the same type of parade in a different state altogether. Of course, Macy's won. But the fact is that, you know, if you don't know all your history, it's really no way of no point in celebrating anything. But the fact is, we don't know our history. We don't. Black folks still don't know where they came from. Because, okay, I'll give you a good example of that. We can say, Asian people can say, yes, I'm Vietnamese, I'm Chinese, I'm Japanese, I am Taiwanese, I'm Filipino. What do black people say? I'm African. Shut up! Man, I hate motorcycles. All we can say is I'm African. 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 You, baby. I'm African, baby. You know what I'm saying? That's all we can say. We can't say nothing about, oh, I'm from Zimbabwe. I'm from South Africa. I'm from Egypt. I'm from this. I mean, we have, how do we know? It would cost thousands of dollars, thousands, 5 figures or more, to trace your roots all the way back through slavery time and back onto the ships that you came on to figure out the exact country that you came from. Because that's one thing, there are documents of the cargo on those ships. There are documents. But then we don't know how many races we've been through either. Because, yeah, even though you're black here in America, we don't know if we're mixed with native, or if we have a little bit of native Mexican in us. For all we know, I'm probably an Aztec Indian. For all I know. According to my father, I'm mixed with Seminole Indian, but I don't know that. I would need to spend 5 figures in order to figure that out. Have someone figure it out for me. And I'm not talking about going back 50 years, 100 years. I'm talking about going at least 300, 400, 500 years in order to figure that out. We don't know where we came from. That's it. Thanksgiving. What kind of bullshit is that? It doesn't make a sense. I mean, it's bullshit history. And why we're celebrating it? Why? You know, so you got to think about these things. You got to think about it. Now, of course, who doesn't like a big-ass turkey sitting on their table? And all that stuffing and peas and macaroni and cheese and stuffing stuffed into the bird itself. Who doesn't like all that gravy? Oh my God. Pumpkin pie, sweet potato pie, bean pie. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, brothers? Bean pie. You got your cabbage, smoked, simmered in ham hocks. You got your slices of ham. I don't eat pork, but I'm just saying, you know, I remember the days. I mean, shoot, my family ate pork, and they still eat pork till today. They'd rather have pork bacon than turkey bacon. But I'm telling you, man, that we had all that shit. All that food that lasted 7 days, sometimes 2 weeks. And we'll go into the fridge, slice up some of that turkey, warm it up a little bit if we wanted to, and had ourselves a feast for 7 days, making sandwiches and all kinds of different iterations of turkey dinner. Whatever we could make out of something, we made it. Amazing. I miss that. I miss those dinners. It was good. Hey, you know what? Last year, we celebrated Thanksgiving, like everybody else does. We had the turkey, we had the hens, we had those, you know, nice-sized hens. We also had the turkey, and we had slices of turkey for days. I made the mashed potatoes, and I made it fresh too. I sliced them up, smashed them up, threw in some onions and some garlic, and made some mashed potatoes. Man, we were feasting for days. Freshly made mashed potatoes. Then we had candy yams. I cut those fuckers up, had them boiling for a bit. So I made the candy yams and the mashed potatoes. Of course, both of them are fattening, a shitload of carbs. In fact, Thanksgiving is nothing but a carb fest. Really. It's nothing but one big carb fest. That's all it is. And that's all you be eating. Oh. That's all you're eating. It's carbs. Nothing but carbs, left and right. Getting all fat for one day. I mean, you could be the most fit person in the world, but on Thanksgiving, your ass is eating. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. If you take one day a year, or maybe 2 days, Thanksgiving and Christmas, and you eat your ass off, but the rest of the year, you're on the treadmill, you're running, you're exercising, you're eating nothing but healthy foods from Whole Foods and stuff like that, okay, hey, have at it. And there is nothing wrong with food. There is nothing wrong at all with food. So I'm not saying anything bad about food, okay? I love me some food, okay? You guys know that. I love me some food. But I'm just talking about Thanksgiving here. One thing is just that all I like to do is arm myself with the knowledge of the no knowledge. And that's what Thanksgiving is. It's the knowledge of non-knowledge. Because we really don't know the exact events of what happened between the Pilgrims and Indians. All we know is the result today. Because nothing wasn't really well documented back in those days. Things weren't that well documented. And if the Indians were slaved up, and the black people were slaved up, the Africans, then what do you think? Some of us, it's probably mixed with Indian. In fact, I look at some black people, and I'm like, yeah, you're mixed. You got some Indian in you. Because some of them don't look like Africans. They look like African, or Indican. Okay? However you want to combine those words. Okay? Well, I'm chilling right now, and I just have to draw some little information. You know, you come up with your own history, basically. It's all it is his story. It's his story. None of it's fact. You cannot prove otherwise. I cannot prove it. You cannot prove it. There is no proof whatsoever about any of this stuff that I just mentioned. So you believe what you want to believe, and I believe what I want to believe, but my belief is wide open. I keep an open mind because maybe sometime in the future we find some type of document written way back in the days that's going to tell us exactly what happened. Some lost document somewhere, and it's been dated, proven that it was written by a pilgrim, and it's going to tell us the whole story. For all we know, that document is out there somewhere. For all we know, the document is nowhere to be found, or was never written. So, what you gotta do, folks, is keep your mind open. And even though I talk shit about Apple and Google, I saw a person today with a Galaxy X3, and I was like, oh my God, can I play with your phone? And I was playing with it on the train this afternoon. I was playing on her phone. I was playing with the Galaxy X3, because it is a good phone. I don't necessarily like the housing of the Galaxy S3, knowing that how Nokia has well-built phones. You can drop that thing like 100 times, and Nokia will not break unless you literally toss it to the ground. Like if your girlfriend was mad at you and she throws it against the wall, I think the Nokia will break. It will break. But what I'm talking about is, just a simple drop. Like, oops, I dropped my phone on concrete. Will it survive? 99% of the time, Nokia will survive. If I did the same thing to a Galaxy X3, it won't survive unless I have a really nice case on it. But outside of that, it's a great phone. I actually like the phone. And in my opinion, it's better than iPhone 5. The iPhone 5 is not a great phone. Hardware, yes. I don't know, but something about it that it doesn't click with me. It's just not right. Okay? But that's my opinion. But I'm not going to knock the fact that it's a bad phone. It's not a bad phone. I just don't like it. Okay? So, people, have an open mind. Because you never know what really happened. We really don't know what happened during the days of Jesus. We really do not know what happened during the days of Moses. All we know is what's written, and it was written by man, and yes, you can say it's the Word of God, but do you really know that? How do you know that? Can you prove that it was written by way of God? We all know it was written by humans, but was it literally written by God and transcribed by humans? We don't know that. Oh, the Bible says so, but again, we're talking about something that was written by humans. You got to get your mind out of that. There's nothing wrong with your belief, but keep an open mind. Do some research. Do as much research as you can do. Because they got historians out there that are doing it for us. So just read a lot, keep an open mind, and don't down other people's beliefs. Just be like, okay, that's an interesting viewpoint. That's an interesting information. Now, I got my own opinion. This is my opinion. I'm not going to try to force you out of your opinion. I got my opinion. And if you do agree with me, we can discuss this in more detail. If you do not agree with me, I'm still going to listen to what you have to say, but at the same time, I'm not going to sit there and bash you. That's what I'm talking about. All right, I'm talking to my chair. I got to go inside and get some stuff. Peace out.